Pepper's ghost, sugar glass, a rubber chair, potato flakes, 3 stuntmen and a huge 400 square meter house. That's about all you need to make a good family Christmas comedy for all times.
You have no idea what's going to happen until you turn the camera on. The cable tightens at the very last moment, and the camera hangs in my face. We were just rehearsing when all of a sudden Joe picks me up and bites my finger. I don't think he did it on purpose. I take it you got the poisonous sting out of him. Of course, no soft mats on the floor, no rubber mats on the pavement. This is how we work.
Right now we're gonna find out how Joe Pesci's head was set on fire, who sat in the Indian sled, why Harry Lime's tooth is shiny, who Marvin Merchants is afraid of, what comes out of an air rifle, and who got all the bumps for the wet bandits. While rewatching Home Alone for the 32nd time, I counted all the falls of wet bandits, Harry and Marvin, 1, 2, 3. And here's another one, and here we go, and here we go, and here we go, that makes 17, in any case, to make everyone laugh, stuntmen Troy Brown, Joe Pesci's understudy, and Leon Delaney, Daniel Stern's understudy, despite numerous bumps and bruises, fell 50 times.
Chris Columbus likes to shoot a lot of takes. And even though we were doing great stunts, we were still doing 6 or 7 takes. Sometimes I'd stop and say, "Okay, that's it for today. Otherwise we're gonna kill them, and the guys won't get up again. You want more? Go do it yourself." Everyone's convinced you can do it. And then you're walking around calculating where to start and where to land. Then the director comes over, and he go over the whole stunt one more time, checking what you're gonna do and how you're gonna do it. Then the guys set up the camera where you're gonna fall, or where you want to slip. It's like that.
It really was almost real. And it looks quite convincing. Despite the fact that stunts with fire are extremely dangerous, Joe Pesci himself risked to stand under the gas burner. Although, if you look closely, you can see that Joe clearly has something wrong with his head. And we're going to tell you about that in just 3 minutes.
Troy Brown. And you have no idea what's going to happen until you turn the camera on. He was supposed to go up on the porch and fall down the stairs. We were shooting in Chicago in January at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't ask him to do it, but Troy grabbed the doorknob and did a back flip. Flipped over and fell right on his back. I thought he'd broken his neck, so I ran right over to him. We were freaking out. That's how all those stunts were filmed.
The budget was small, so we didn't have any special equipment, like harnesses, safety ropes and all that. You just fell and hit yourself hard. But it was funny for the audience. It was real, no soft mats on the floor or rubber mats on the asphalt. That's how we worked.
One of my favorite tricks is when the bandits come up the main staircase at the McAllister house, and there's a bunch of toy cars scattered in front of the stairs. So they go and they just fall upside down. No mats, no ropes, no everything. Nothing was there. Just 2 guys just fell on the floor with their backs to the ground. That's just the way it was. Nobody does that now.
The actors didn't have it easy either. Joe Pesci struggled with his terrible habit of swearing and replayed 5 times each scene, trying to look as sly and evil as possible, but it was Daniel Stern who had the most to put up with. He ran through the snow in rubber socks, walked on sugar glass, he was dropped on the movie camera, and instead of a mechanical spider, on Daniel's face planted a real poisonous tarantula named Barry.
For the scene where the tarantula crawls on my face, they were supposed to use a mechanical spider, so I come on set and I say, "Where's the mechanical tarantula? I mean, there's only a box of big, real, hairy spiders." And they said, "You know, the mechanical one doesn't look realistic, so we're gonna shoot it with a real one." And I take it you got the poisonous sting out of it, of course, and they're like, "See, if you take the sting out of a tarantula, it dies." And I said, "Guys, but if you don't take the sting out, then I die, and so when it crawls on my face, I should scream, but I don't want to scare the spider." And they said to me, "You can scream, tarantulas can hardly hear anything." And then I screamed. It was like the movie Psycho. the nail I stepped on was actually rubber, and it bent under my foot like that. And the Christmas decorations were made of sugar, but the iron was real. And it was a pretty funny scene. First, we took an ordinary iron and just threw it at the camera, but in order to show how the iron flies in my face, they built a whole construction, tied the camera to a cable and threw it right at me. The cable tightens at the very last moment and the camera hangs in front of my nose, so I'm watching a 100-kilogram movie camera falling on me, and I was like, guys, I hope you know what you're doing.
In order to keep to the timing and a rather modest budget, some $18 million, several scenes had to be drastically reduced, and 9, cut, the episode of The Nightmare, when the house against Kevin turned against all the appliances, was too complicated and expensive to produce. From it remained only one short scene with a terrible furnace in the basement. And even that Chris Columbus shot without computer special effects, assistants behind the scenes just pulled the cable and flashing lights. There are no elaborate special effects or computer graphics in the movie. The appearance of the relatives, the glint of Harry's gold tooth, and the air rifle shot were done by Kevin Nordini, an old acquaintance of John Hughes. By friendship, for his work Nordine took only $600, and literally hand-painted all the optical visual effects directly on the film, in the basement of his own house, where he equipped a small photo studio. By the way, did you pay attention to the little ball flying out of the gun? Personally, I saw the balloon only when I was editing a video about special effects in the first Terminator.
Hello. Привет. Yes! Yes!
Joe Pesci's head was set on fire by production designer John Muto. In 1996, he will still have time to have a hand in the short film Terminator 2 3D, Battle Through Time, and in the very early 90s, the resourceful creative John did not reinvent the wheel, but simply used the good old optical illusion.
I use this thing called Pepper's Ghost. It's a trick invented by illusionist magicians. They use it quite a lot. They used to use it in the movies too, but it's not relevant now. It actually looked like this. I took a camera, put a glass in front of it at a 45-degree angle, and pointed the camera at the door. So everything that's reflected in the glass is also in the frame. In front of the glass, behind the frame, on the other side, I put a small black box, and inside it I put a black mannequin head, and I put a black tube with a fire coming out of it. Due to the fact that the head is black, the fire covers it, and the flame seems voluminous. That's the trick. It's just important to make sure. It's important that the actor is standing at the right point. Stop at this point, and you'll see the black outline next to the head. Joe just missed the reflection on the glass a little bit. I shot this scene from 2 different plans, and in the edit we used both. They're one after the other.
When I watched Home Alone in the 90s, I had no idea or even imagined that this scene was filmed in this way, and I never noticed any black outline and curtain in the reflection of the glass. The same can be said about the moment with the van. You wouldn't even realize that the medium and close-up were shot backwards. Look how strangely Kevin walks, and the smoke from the exhaust pipe is sucked back. Oh, and the van, before coming to a stop, pulls the scarf towards him, and here's how it really was. The only thing left to do is to roll the film backwards in the editing process. When Macaulay jumps a rope into a treehouse, falls off high shelves and drives down a ladder on a sled, he is duplicated by 30-year-old stuntman Larry Nicholas.
The cool stunt is when Larry, Macaulay Culkin's understudy, sledding down the stairs. Larry didn't trust Troy or me, but we did it. We built a ski jump right inside the house. We put a sled on it and took it downstairs. The sled was empty, went out 10 feet into the street and would have killed whoever was in it. Then we put a big mattress down and hooked the sled to a cable with a brake system. At first the sled was going too slow. Larry's panicking, and Chris is like, "What's so slow?" And I'm like, "It's gonna get better." And I say, "Action!" And I pull the brakes. And you can see the sled flying out the door.
If the film crew knew what Joe Pesci was capable of, they would have come up with something for Macaulay Culkin in the final scene. Joe was so into the role and so keen on acting that he almost bit off Macaulay's finger.
They grabbed me and hanged me on a hook. I had a special contraption behind my back for that. We were just practicing, all of a sudden, Joe comes up and bites my finger. I don't think he did it on purpose, he just grabbed my finger with his teeth and didn't do it right. He bit down a little harder, so now I have a little scar from Joe Pesci's teeth, right here on my finger. It's still there, I'm very proud of it. It's my little war wound.
Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern thought they were starring in a low-budget family comedy, so they improvised and goofed around even more. About the cheap low-budget guys, fortunately, were very wrong. But they played great. The movie paid for itself 26 times over and has been giving viewers a magical Christmas and New Year mood for 30 years. Create a fairy tale for an hour and a half, pour tangerines, light Christmas trees, turn on Home Alone, and then your deepest wishes will come true. Yes, only pasta dinner for the microwave, do not forget, or suddenly the fairy tale will not work. Like Kevin McAllister and tell us in the comments what kind of trap you would build for the wet bandits. Or just write us something nice.
You better watch out, you better not hide. If your doors are open, we're coming inside. Harry and Marvin are coming to town. We know when you're out dancing. We know just what to take. We know where all the money's hid. So come on, give us a break. Oh, you better watch out. You better not hide. If your doors are open, we're coming inside. Harry
And Marv
are coming to